This is being recorded on March 20th, 2016. Some things just don't translate. In Fiddler on the Roof, Tevye says that when you're rich, they think you really know. And that would be our first indication that some things simply do not translate. Wealth does not automatically translate into wisdom. If it were so, why would we have people of wealth and fame saying idiotic things? In the face of worldwide terrorism, Barack Hussein Obama tells us that global warming or climate change is the most awful thing that we face. Sean Penn says he's a limousine liberal. What exactly do you think that means? My interpretation of that statement would be that he wants his creature comforts at the financial expense of others. But I could be wrong. Bernie Sanders, who seems to be beating the pantsuit off Hillary Clinton at the moment, said this, and I quote, "Let us wage a moral and political war against war itself so that we can cut military spending and use that money for human needs," unquote. Wage war against war? Really? What does that translate to? Sending messages in strong language to our enemies while we reduce our armed forces? I don't think so. Lyndon Johnson began a war on poverty, and to the surprise of no one with rational thought processes, we still have poverty in this country after spending billions and billions of dollars to eradicate it. And speaking of eradication, our health system used to do well in that regard. With the advent of the scandal with the VA hospitals, coupled with the incompetence of the Affordable Care Act, that has translated into something less than a great health program. Now, add to those the importation of hundreds of thousands of so-called refugees from countries where health systems are poorly done, and if at all, and you'll find the diseases that were never seen in this country, or those that we had eradicated, are showing up. To me, that translates into a big, red, flashing light that spells danger. The recent loss of Justice Antonin Scalia, who often gave opinions that needed no translation, is going to pose a problem for the U.S. Senate, who must approve any nominated candidate for the U.S. Supreme Court. Democrats will want the Muslim-in-chief to nominate the next person. Republicans will want the next president to make that nomination, and of course, they expect to win the White House. They're counting on winning the White House. In any case, the next justice concerned to the Supreme Court is going to tip the scales one way or another for a long time, and that translates into political law. Another thing that doesn't quite translate properly is the election selection process, at least not in my not-so-humble opinion. We put up multiple candidates from the same party. They chew each other to pieces while trying to get the nomination, and then, when one of them is chosen, suddenly they're all friendly-like with the folks they've been verbally abusing because now they need a vice president and perhaps members of the administration. Charles Dudley Warner originated the saying that politics makes strange bedfellows, and although he died in 1900, it's just as true today. Personally, if I don't like someone, I don't like them forever. And it would be that way if I liked them. In both cases, some strong evidence would have to show me that my thinking was wrong before I could be persuaded to change my mind. You may be wondering if your vote counts, and there are people on both sides of the discussion with very strong arguments as to why you should vote. However, the actions of the governor of California, Jerry Moonbeam Brown, make it seem somewhat ridiculous thinking that your vote counts. Why? Because he signed into law Assembly Bill 1461, which allowed illegal aliens to get driver's licenses. Now, think about that. Most places in and out of the state of California accept that, the driver's license, as proof you can vote. My guess is that California is one of those states. The strategy is clear. And that means, unless I'm wrong, there's a very good chance that a lot of illegal aliens will be voting in the upcoming election for the next president. The strategy is clear. Open the door to illegal aliens, give them some acceptable form of identification, and they will vote. Now, who do you think they'll vote for? Of course, they will vote for the people that gave them that opportunity, and in this case, it's the Democrat Party. Think about that. Here's another item that doesn't translate, well, at least for me. Protesters, and it doesn't make any difference what they're protesting about, and frankly, a lot of them don't know, but I digress. They gather to keep this or that person from speaking freely, all the while loudly proclaiming that they are for free speech. How does that stand up logically? It doesn't, in my not so humble opinion. Well, this is the old alarmist. So long for now, but keep watching and reading the blog and my articles in Clash Daily. You just might find out something you didn't know before.